Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another first impressions video. Welcome once again. I will try my best to finish all the first impression videos this week. That way we can go back to somewhat normal week next week. So I also have all the reaction series that I'll be reacting to, and I'll decide by this week which ones for sure I'm doing. Uh, Anyways, guys, this is going to be one that's going to be airing in Funimation. Haven't seen it anywhere else. Could be air in Hulu eventually. I don't know. It is By the Grace of the Gods. It's an interesting one, and just off the bat, I can tell what it's going to be about slightly, but I could be wrong. Anyways, guys, before I continue, a few things. If you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It looks like we're going to reach our goal of the month before the giveaway. So thank you so much for that. But let's try to get to 3,800 now. Let's see how fast we can get there. It looks like we are going to be getting there pretty soon. Also, guys, the giveaway video will be releasing this week on the 15th. I believe that's on Thursday, if that's right. I believe it is Thursday. Anyways, so make sure you don't miss that video. You guys can always watch it as a premiere and chat in the chat with me and other people. Okay, guys. So you can find this one on Funimation. It is only right now subbed. There's actually 2 episodes out already. I've only watched the first episode, but the second one I think aired yesterday. This one has been out for a while. I just haven't had the chance to watch it, but I finally did this morning. By the Grace of the Gods, first it didn't seem like one, but it is actually an isekai. They eventually explained it mid episode that it actually is, but I would also say that it looks like it's going to be maybe slice of life. Not in the sense of high school slice of life, but very much like random missions here and there. And I would say it looks like probably a small harem, although it's kind of weird, and I'll explain that right now. So we find this little boy. He's 11 years old. Yes, 11. We know this for a fact. He's 11 years old, and he's living basically in the forest by his own with a bunch of slimes. And each slime has its own characteristics. He explains that there's some that are poisonous. There's some that do well with ice. There's some that do well with melting stuff. And so they basically all have their own unique characteristic. He ends up bumping into a few royal soldiers, what it seems like. Ends up being that one of them is actually a duke, and one of them is very, very hurt. Now, he hasn't seen people in 3 years, according to what he says. So the way he starts talking to them is very caveman like, but eventually he explains to them that he has medicine, and I guess their medic makes sure that it is medicine, and it passes their test. And then he offers his home for the guy to rest. In his home, they ask him a few questions like, why is he alone? Why is he living here? How does he know how to make potions? How can he do multiple types of magic? And he explains that his parents were adventurers, and they died 3 years ago, and he basically was learning a little bit here and there from them, and that he wasn't really liked in the village, so he ended up in this little hidden house in the forest. Now, the Duke is pretty worried about him because after they check his skills, none of the magic skills that they saw were part of his high level skills. Most of his high level skills were basically skills that a little boy shouldn't have. Let's just put it like that. I guess emotionally shouldn't have, So they worried about him. They really think that he should be with an adult living a better life, and they basically go on a mission on when they return. They're gonna try to get him to come with them, or or somehow get out of living this isolated life. Now, we get this flashback. The boy kind of goes, I kind of lied to them. He's thinking in his head, and then he explains the story. He was actually older man in Japan that died and went to, I guess, the afterlife. And in this afterlife, there's three gods. There's three deities. One is the creator, one is the god of love, and one is the god of life. And he's talking to these three deities, and they're pretty amused of how calm he is. And he's like, "Well, I expected I was gonna die eventually because of the job I got." Then they explain how he died, and he freaks out. And I think it's just the funniest thing because he expects, a heart attack. He expects maybe he got abused too much by his coworkers or boss. And no, in fact, the way he died was he sneezed too hard when he was asleep, and he blew some blood vessels. He died. He's like, that's a pity death. But goes on, or the deities go on saying that they're going to reincarnate him in this different world because they need to make a gate enough where magic from the earth can go into their earth, or their world. That way they have enough magic. They explain it, but it really doesn't matter. What the reason is, the biggest reason is that he's being reincarnated into this world. So he's reincarnated as an 8-year-old boy, and he lived by his own for 3 years. Now, the anime ends with him essentially explaining how he came to meet a slime and how he has from there just reproduced and gained so many slimes. And then the soldiers show up back up with what looks like a little young girl clerk, and they're like, "Hey, we're here to talk to you." And that's how it ends, him looking at the girl and blushing. A few things. It's great, I guess, beginning, funny. I wouldn't say it's unique. It's very much like an isekai that you see typically. A few things that have bothered me of recent isekais is the fact that they very much show that it's a 30-year-old, 40-year-old that has died and reincarnated into a boy's body, but it's still a 30-year-old that's lived 30 years old and a little boy. So the fact that he is getting infatuated with a little girl just bothers me a little tad. I understand eventually maybe falling in love, but off the bat, him getting all blushed up because of a little girl, I don't know. That just didn't sit well with me. I guess because I'm looking too much into it, but at the same time, on the closing song, you see these three older, well, seem to look older women that I guess are gonna join in his group and eventually become what we consider in harem anime. And the same thing, like, these women look like they're at least 16, 17 years old. And it's a little boy. He's 11. Like, okay, yes, he's a 30-year-old living in 11 bodies. But at the same time, why are those girls wanting to be that close to an 11-year-old? So we'll see how they explain it. I don't know. That kind of has bothered me in some of these new isekais. They very much do that very often, and it just seems like are a lot of 30-year-olds wanting to be in a young boy's body just to be with young girls, just to make it legal, I guess you can say it. I don't know. That just doesn't sit right to me. But oh well. What are you gonna do about it? I guess complain, and hopefully they change the way they see isekais. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know in the comment section if you watched the first or second episode on this anime, and if you're gonna be watching it to the end. By the grace of the gods, I think it's gonna be a decent one. Definitely not top 5. Definitely probably not top 8 of the season, but it's still there. It's one of those that I think if you have free time, you probably enjoy watching it. If it's dubbed, I probably will watch it. I'll just put it like that. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, go and check out my social media, TikTok and Twitter. TikTok has grown quite a bit. I'm almost at 10,000, which was my ultimate goal for TikTok, and we're like 900 people away. So, if you haven't followed me on TikTok, go follow me there. Twitter is growing as well, and we just been gaining people there as well. So thank you for the love and support that you show this channel and my social media. And again, guys, like always, don't be strangers. See you guys in the next video.